here's the deal. My buddy Dave and my buddy Scoot, they're Texas fans. They're a little hesitant.
Well, of course they're nervous. They know that 6-7 win seasons are in the future.
Big time.
Yeah.
So now they get to see what it feels like to be an LSU fan. When you're not Alabama. There's only one Alabama, bro, and that's it. There is no other Alabama. You're going to get beat by Mississippi State here and there. You're going to get beat by an Ole Miss here and there. You're going to get beat by Texas, because you can't be, only Alabama can, at the highest level of football week in and week out. They're the only team that can do it, except the 2019 LSU Tigers. They could do it. But consistently, there's only one team that can do it, and it's Alabama.
All right, so when you heard the reaction, which really came out of left field, the SEC did a great job
keeping it bottled up.
The commissioner of the conversations that now we've been hearing have been taking place for 6 months. No one got behind the scenes, the Texas-Oklahoma conversations with the SEC. When that came out this week, what was your initial reaction?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, because I now know that there's a chance that Alabama can be split away from LSU. That's the main thing that went through my head.
Have to play them every year.
Oh, they'll probably be LSU's permanent home. I mean, it won't be Florida anymore. It'll be Alabama. I mean, wouldn't that? I mean, that's going to be
Oklahoma and Texas.
Of course, Saban probably won't be happy with that either. But at the end of the day, that's kind of where it would end up. I mean, you finally get rid of Florida and you end up getting Alabama again.
Regardless of, okay, so you're first off, your initial reaction is positive.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So obviously, as far as what we know, the only negative that's obvious out there is A&M says from the get-go, no, we want to be the only SEC school from the state of Texas. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, if any state would have added another SEC school into their state, if Arkansas had a school, or Louisiana, Missouri, everybody's going to regard their state, so nobody's going to like that.
Except Alabama, they can't do it. Neither can Florida.
Well, there's nothing that they can do about that. But here's my question. From initially, your reaction is, okay, it's a good thing. It's going to make LSU's job harder. It's going to make every team's job harder.
Of course.
I mean, you're not on South Carolina like they did back in the day. These are two powerhouse football programs. Texas is the largest budget for an athletic department. They gross the most revenue by $11 million over the next school in the country. Oklahoma, of course, has been fantastic in football for 50, 60 years.
All you got to do is come in second place in your division. You're going to make it to the playoffs.
Heck, maybe even third.
Maybe even third. And I got thoughts on that too, because they're going to expand the playoffs. They're going to expand the playoffs. You don't have to win the SEC. There's not going to be an SEC championship game anymore, because you're going to eliminate the SEC championship game. You're going to have more games in the SEC, and then the top 4 teams from the SEC will play in the 8 to 12 game tournament, 8 to 12 team tournament. That's what's going to happen. So who cares? I mean, yeah, you want to win the SEC, but at the end of the day, you just want to win the national championship. And it can happen, dude, because I mean, the playoffs will get expanded, and you don't have to win the SEC anymore to make it. You could actually lose 3 games and make it into the playoffs.
If you lose the right.
I think that you could. I think that you can lose even a turn. Think about it. Let's say
There's 16 teams that are going to be in the league.
12 games. You have 12 games, right? That's what we're at. 6 of those games are going to be your side of the division.
Well, we don't know yet.
I've already got to figure it out. No, I figured it out.
Oh, you figured it out. Okay.
So here's what I think. If we go to a
why 6? If there's 8, why if there's 16 teams?
6 or 7. There's going to be either 6 or 7. No, I'm going to break it down for you. I got it broken down.
You're not going to not play a team from your division if there's only 2 divisions.
There's going to be 4 divisions, Ron.
According to you.
That's according to me. There's going to be 4 divisions.
So this is all speculative. Just want to make sure.
I think
this is the Joel Davis plan.
Yeah, if
you were Sankey,
which I should be, I'm gonna have 4.
He delivers his own furniture.
I'm going to give it to you real quick.
Please give it to me. Give me the.
I know. We're just going all in. We're just going all in, dude. So here's your SEC. You ready? You have the SEC Northwest. Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, OU. That's the SEC Northwest. And then you have on the same side of the division, the SEC Southwest. Texas A&M, LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. That's the SEC Southwest. Okay. And then you go to the other side of the SEC East, and you have the SEC Northeast, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and Vandy. Okay. And then you have the SEC Southeast, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina. So here's how you do it. You have the SEC East and you have the SEC West still, but you have two little divisions within each. And then, so the SEC Southwest, which would be LSU, they would play Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. And then from the SEC West, you'd play Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, and OU. That's your 7 games.
They're not going to break up Florida and Georgia.
No. No. Okay, that's fine. Florida. Look, we can go. Florida,
where Tennessee's going to be in the bracket.
Okay, so now Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky, and Vandy. Great. Good. Alabama.
No, but I mean,
and you move Georgia out.
Auburn, Tennessee, and then one other.
Vandy.
And then on the other side, you've got
Florida,
Georgia, South Carolina,
and what, Kentucky?
So that's fine. I mean, we move on here, we move on there. But you get my point. So you have 7 games that you have set every year. And then you have your UCLA or your Utah State, a higher end team from another, a Penn State. You have a 1 game outside of your conference early in the season. You can, right? And then you have your 3 cupcakes. Or 4 cupcakes. You got 4. That's 12 games. You have 7 games. Okay. No, listen. Okay. I'm hold on. Okay. You're right. I forgot one. You're gonna have 1 across the way. You can have that one, a rotating 1 across the way, and then you'll rotate that, or maybe even 2 across the way, and then you have that 1 UCLA game and 2 cupcakes. Well, however you want to look at it.
The thing is that why even you get to the point where if you go 16 teams in a powerhouse like that with Oklahoma and Texas in there, why even play out of conference? Anybody could.
Just play 9 conference games and then 3 cupcakes or 3 whatever game, money games.
It's because it's a money game.
For rest.
It's a rest.
You know, it's a rest game. No, it's not about you. It's about what the school and the money and the fans want. The fans want to play everybody all over. They want us to go to Green Bay again, or they want us to. The fans, but the fans don't want that though. It's about the money.
So okay, Ron, you're right. It is about the money, but if the fans like it, that's where the money comes from.
No, it's not. LSU doesn't make as much money going to Pasadena to take on UCLA.
I'm not talking about traveling. If the fans like that, it's going to watch it on TV. It's going to sell. The advertising's going to sell. Everybody's going to get sales. So that's you're right. It is about the fans. So and the SEC knows that. So we're gonna play into that, and it's going to sell better because the fans won. That's the point. Speechless. I knew you would be. Do we need to go to break?
No, I'm not speechless. It's hard to follow anything that you can throw out there.
Here's the deal.
So the Joel plan has 2 divisions.
2 divisions.
Well, East and West. But then 2
subdivisions.
So 4 divisions total.
Correct. Just like the NFL.
Okay. You play everybody on your side.
7 games.
On the left, you play
7 games.
And then you play 1 revolving team on the other side. Championship.
I don't think you need one. I don't think you need one anymore because you're going to go to a 12-game or an 8-game playoff.
You know how much money there's going to be.
Not if there's more playoff games, Ron. You don't need it.
Because you got your conference.
Why do you want to go play? Okay, fine. I'm gonna give you a championship game. You can have it. What is it about?
How much the money and how big
the SEC championship game is going to be now that Texas and Oklahoma are in the league. If you win the SEC championship, that's almost.
It's so funny that you say that, dude. We got to have an SEC game. An SEC championship game, but we can't have UCLA and Pasadena. It's so
for the league, it makes everybody so much more money than a one-off game against Wisconsin and Green Bay.
I don't care. All I know is you're gonna. I'll give you SEC championship game. I don't want to lose the SEC championship game, but do I really need to play another SEC game? I mean, good God.
Craig Schilling asks, how do you determine the winner of each pod to go to the SEC championship game if they all have the same record but didn't play each other? All right, Commissioner. That's it. So Craig Schilling raised his hand. Yeah. Craig Schilling, Bruley Gazette. He wants to know, how do you determine the winner of each pod to go to the SEC championship game if they all have the same record but didn't play each other. Commissioner Davis, we'll hang up and listen.
Okay, so in the NFL, it happens the same way, right? It goes the same way. It breaks down by head-to-head. If you didn't play head-to-head, then it goes by conference record. If you don't have a conference record, then it goes by there's like a third tier determination. The NFL has no problem figuring it out. Why can't the SEC?
All right, so
Here
would you like to, as your assistant commissioner, would you like me to answer that for you in that?
Sure.
You're going to know who the pod winner is because it takes care of itself. Everybody's played each other. If you have a situation where it's tiebreaker, then you could go to some sort of thing like you do in football.
I just said that. You go to something like you do in football. A head-to-head, if it's not head-to-head, then it's likeness or whatever. I just said that.
Hang on. You're not even letting me finish. You don't even let me finish. You're not even let me finish. So you let's say you have a three-way tie, because that's the worst case scenario. You'd have a three-way tie in your division. Then you simply go about best SEC West division. Like, let's say it's the West. Go by the West division, and then from there it's gonna elevate two people. Okay. Then it's head-to-head from there.
Sure. And if there's
Okay.
no head-to-head?
And if there's there is a head-to-head. Everybody's playing everybody on the West or the East. You see what I'm saying? It's always going to come down to a head. It's how do you get to just two people? Okay, and so you have to go by conference record. Then you got to go by the division record. But here's the thing: if you run into a situation where, and this could happen, if you run into a situation where you've got three teams in one pod that have the same record, that all have the same record within the division. I mean, inside like West division, not your pod division or whatever the hell we're calling it, but within your pod, you could have three teams with the same record in their pod and all have the same record within their division.
And you beat me.
So then, yeah, but then what do you do from there? In baseball, you go by least runs scored, most runs scored. But are you going to go by points?
No, you're not.
You're going to go highest ranked team. Is what you're going to do.
I've seen it. I've seen the Saints lose the #1 seed to stuff like this. Okay, so it happens. There's a way to figure it out.
I want to hear you. I want to hear you how you figure it out. If you've got, hang on, 3 teams in your SEC Southwest Division, which in your mind would be LSU, A&M, Mississippi State, and all that. Okay, hang on. You've got 3 teams that are 6-2. Okay, 6-2, and they are in the pod. 3 teams in the pod, 6-2. Could happen. Okay. They all have the same record. They all have the same record within the West. What do you do to extract one? One's got to go away so that you got 2 and it's head-to-head. So how do you get determined? You got 3 all with the same record, all within the same record in the pod, all within the same record in the West. How do you extract one to just get to a head-to-2? How do you eliminate one of them?
Well, the first thing is head-to-head, obviously. Right? I get it. There's 3 teams.
They all beat each other. There's 3 teams. If you got 3 teams, let's say you got team A, team B, team C. A beats B, C beats A, B beats C.
So then it goes
So you could easily have 3.
You go to conference, and then you go to. There's a way to break it down, dude. I don't have to.
Right, but you're the commissioner, and Craig Schilling from the Bruley Gazette asked you the question, and you don't know. That's the problem. Because my solution would be.
72 beers last night. I thought about my pod.
But you forgot about that.
You're asking me to come up with this.
I would say this. I would eliminate the team that's the lowest ranked team, and then just go head to head with the other 2. So you'd say, all right, Mississippi State or LSU or A&M, you guys are all tied with the same record. You're all still 6-2. You all have you all have the same record within the West. You all beat your East opponent. Your one East opponent. You all beat them. So everything. Now, how do we extract one to get down to a head-to-head with the other 2? You're the highest ranked, the lowest ranked team. You're ranked 22. You're out, and then the other 2 teams up head-to-head. Who beat who? That's what I would do.
We don't have an SEC championship game. It doesn't matter.
We are going to have an SEC championship. Oh, we're always championship game. Craig Schilling said you could have an SEC semifinal and then a championship game, but that's an extra game. That's not going to happen. All right, we'll be back. Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino. We're over here at Greystone Golf and Country Club. Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis in Denham Springs at Greystone. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more from Commissioner Joel Davis right after this.
You should have heard my stupid friend Scott's idea.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Shorts Radio. Davis over here, hour number one with you at Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs. Hour number two, Tommy Chrysan will join us, and we'll probably get a much smarter, well-structured opinion of what the SEC is going to look like moving forward. We heard from.
I want to say, I just can't say it.
Is it just from fall? Can you fix your microphone? It's a little saggy. Is it from falling all those years on the skateboard ramps and things?
I think it's the aspartame.
Ooh, maybe so. A lot of did string tab back in the day.
Let me ask you this: Does Split have aspartame?
Aspartame, I'll tell you the same. I don't know. I mean, like it's all none of it's good, right? I mean, any fake sugar is not good for you.
Whatever is in stuff that I put.
You believe that's it?
I believe it's making my brain.
Little class action, maybe. Should we call one of our attorney friends?
No proof, DeBosier, go way back. And I'll be honest with you, dude.
I think he's had a little aspartame. I mean, they put you on a stand, they've got no shot, right? Right. Let's see. Jacques Doucet tweeted out something about the week. Go ahead and read that. It's pretty cool.
The Washington football team, the Cleveland Guardians, the NCAA transfer portal, portal, opting out, NIL, Oklahoma and Texas reporters said to join the SEC. So much incredible change in such a short period of time in sports. That was my broadcast voice at the end. Do your broad. Okay, you read it and you do your broadcast.
So if I was like a WAFB sports guy.
Okay, then I'm gonna read. I would have. Okay.
Here we go. Let's see.
Here we go. This is beautiful.
Here we go. 3, 2. Coming up tonight on WAFB, the Washington football team, the Cleveland Guardians, the NCAA transfer portal, everything's going on, opting out, NIL and Texas, and a whole lot more. Crazy world with more tonight on WAFB Sports. All right.
I like how you put the little more tonight.
Yeah, throw WBRZ. Let's be equal opportunity employers here. Go ahead.
WBRZ?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Joel Davis, WBRZ Sports. The Washington football team, the Cleveland Guardians, the NCAA transfer portal opting out, NIL, and Texas reportedly set to join the SEC. So much incredible change in such a short period of time in sports tonight on WBRZ. Joel Davis. How was that? Is that okay?
You sound like a guy who
Didn't know what he was doing?
they just haven't dropped it. Let's put it like that.
That's the point. I was doing my best, Gus Johnson.
You sound like Gus Johnston.
Good.
More than
Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
Bus. My name's Bus Johnston.
Apologies to Gus Johnston's everywhere.
It's Bus Johnston. Bus Johnson.
All right. Carl, the Capitol did take no more body bag games. Go back to 10 games. That's you're talking about playing in the SEC. If they expanded to 16. Lynn King told us about an article on Jack Mack college football. We looked that up, and the conversation of that is that the SEC. There's reports that the SEC quietly has had conversation with Ohio State, Florida State, Michigan, and Clemson, potentially making a 20-team mega conference and adding them. Wow. That's all a little bit pie in the sky, right? But if that happened, that's a wrap, Coach. That's a wrap for. Then there's Notre Dame out there who's just out there by themselves. I guess Notre Dame will be would be playing like 5 Pac-12 games a year or something. Right. It's so ridiculous. I wonder if you did a mega conference like that, if you did a mega deal with 20 teams and you had a Clemson and Ohio State and Michigan and all, hopefully the world would not care about Notre Dame at that point, right? And look, I grew up a Notre Dame fan. I mean, being a Catholic boy, Dad went to Holy Cross. Of course, the fight song at Holy Cross High School is the same as the one at Notre Dame and the same brother system and all that. So I grew up pulling for a good Catholic boy, pulling for Notre Dame when they weren't playing anybody I cared about. But I am a little bit over the arrogance that's now here today where you've got all these mega. Look, last year they jumped into the ACC due to COVID. Had a good year, won 10 games, played in the championship, against Clemson. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yes.
Right. Well, what's wrong with that? So anyway, it's just I'm a little bit over the whole Notre Dame thing. Like, come on, dude, get with the league with everybody else. Let's see. Here's Carl's got a question for Joel. Need Joel's thoughts on Michael Thomas. What's the real story and why he waited to get surgery? Was it worse than expected, or doctors wanted him to? I mean, obviously don't know anything, but
multiple procedures. He had a procedure after the season, and then another procedure out. They don't have a time frame between the procedures, which I think is all a bunch of.
You think it's not? You think it's BS? That's not real. You never know. Why not be so? Look, Michael Thomas already has the contract, so why not be forthright and just be out front and be like, "Hey, look, we're going to have this procedure in January. We know he's probably going to have another one later in the spring." So, but the fact that no one's talking about it, the Saints, him, it sounds like it's BS. Because if it was true, why wouldn't the Saints have addressed it in the offseason with a draft pick or a free agent? I'm gonna call BS on this whole. They're trying to cover up because they know they got a locked-in contract with the guy and they can't part ways with him, and they got to make sure they're all kumbaya. But it sounds like Michael Thomas he's been a diva ever since he signed that contract.
Yep. As soon as he got super wealthy, man, he does not care.
So Eddie James saying no aspartame. This is Nookie. No aspartame in Splenda Sucralose only. So there, sucralose only. So there goes your lawsuit. Aspartame's. So he's saying use Splenda. There's no aspartame in Splenda. So you need to change that up.
I use Splenda.
Oh, do you? Okay, well then you're good. All right.
But I mean, I'm drinking a Diet Coke right now. It's like, you know.
Loaded with the stuff. I dated a girl back in the 90s that lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and she was applying to law school. And while she was waiting to get in medical school, while she was waiting to get into medical school, she worked for the Mayo Clinic, and part of her job was in the research lab doing studies and stuff on Nick diet. She was a Diet Coke drinker. So I guess what was that back in NutraSweet back in the day, right? This woman literally had a Diet Coke in her hand 24/7. I mean, there were half-drank Diet Cokes all over her house, right?
Wow.
She went to work and started researching NutraSweet, and once she realized what was up, she stopped drinking Diet Coke.
It's not bad.
Yeah, there's whoa. Yeah. So
I don't usually drink that.
and it was mostly brain cell related. So
Well, dude,
there's some things going on with you.
you can tell.
I really can.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only 51.
Right.
I mean, my whole life.
You're going to be, I predict that by 65, you'll probably be slinging feces. Why is that? I mean, I think it's true. I mean, it's true.
I mean, why would I sling feces?
No, but I mean, you lose your marbles and you run around. You know, I mean, you're going to be that guy for sure. All right, we'll take.
So healthy, that's not
You'll look great while you're slinging it around your $800,000 house. It can be back.
I just checked the numbers. Nine.
It's worth 9 now. Well, you know what a house is worth, right? What someone will pay for it. We'll take a break and be back with more sports shorts right after this.
All right, Sorry. Y'all, I know everybody's turning the channel off. I don't even
By
care.
the way, I apologize to Craig Schilling and the gang. I had them muted the whole time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They missed some glorious stuff, by the way. Oh my goodness. I'm not muting when we go to commercial break because then I forget to unmute when we come out of commercial break.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what voice I did that you wanted me to do that I didn't do that time.
All right, we've only got about
Go ahead.
15 minutes with you before we get to Real Sports Talk with Tommy Christ and hour number 2.
It's amazing when I get in my car and I leave.
It's like a real show then.
It changes completely.
Yeah,
It's 100%.
Yeah.
It's like a total. It's
there's
like you flip.
information. There's thought-provoking
There's no voice.
conversation.
There's no voices.
Yeah.
There's good memory. Lots of inside sources. Yeah, it's a great show.
All right, so pick any of those topics right there. You know, there's been so many times. By the way, what do your thoughts on the Cleveland Indians becoming the Cleveland Galaxy?
Guardians. Just I think that
Cleveland Guardians.
I didn't like the logo. Didn't find the logo all that great. You know, I
Don't care?
Don't care. I'm just going to be devastated when they change my Atlanta Braves.
You think it's inevitable?
I mean, yeah. What year is it? 2021?
Well, yesterday we were on Sports Church Daily, and one of our listeners pointed out that the Braves have been honoring the Cherokee Nation each and every year.
Right.
They've got their support. You know, probably paying them all for it, but they got their support.
There was the people that had the support. There was a lot of support on both sides, but it didn't matter. I hope that they leave it alone. You know, for Dale Murphy's, it's all changing, bro. I mean, this is the year 2021. I mean, dude, horns down is now offensive. Horns down is now offensive. I mean, come on. This is where we are
It's not
today.
going to be offensive once they join the SEC, I can show you.
Well, get used to it.
Texas A&M.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that people weren't gonna. I wouldn't say that people were gonna. It's offensive now. Like putting your horns down and making fun of somebody, like, is offensive. My daily. Right, dude. I mean, I just think about the things that me and my friends say to each other every day. Rag on each other and the things that come out of our mouths towards each other. Did that in just the world, people would crumble. I mean, crumble. The thin-skinned world we are in is unbelievable. Mentality is a thing of the past, bro. It's a thing of the past.
By the way,
It's a shame.
a friend of mine, and it hits this one right. Describes sports shorts as the Waynesboro sports organization.
I think that's actually very well. That's especially hour 1. Hour number 2, it's more Walter Cronkite, ABC News. But hour 1, definitely Wayne's World.
Who said that?
Friend of mine, Katie. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. All right, we'll take a break. Presented by LaBerge Casino. By the way, LaBerge Casino, a lot of great concerts coming up over the next few months.
By the way.
Oh yeah, I don't care. You can pick whichever one you want. I think I'm the dark haired guy.
Like out of Beavis and Butthead. Like which one?
I wasn't a Beavis and Butthead guy. I know that you probably loved it.
I love it.
Really? You didn't want like Beavis and Butthead back in the day?
Beavis and Butthead.
I mean, that was when MTV was rolling. That's when you were rolling. That's when.
That was not Ren and Stimpy. Stimpy.
By the way, for those that may have just tuned in for the first time, which you probably aren't with us if you did. Joel Davis was a professional skateboarder back in the day of the late 80s, early 90s. When we come back, there's a rumor floating around New Orleans. We'll tell you about it. Joel Davis has some strong thoughts. We got a former professional skateboarder who's gonna tell you about a rumor that's going around and how it's offended him. That's coming up next. Sports Shorts presented by LaBerge from Greystone Golf and Country Club right after this. Tenders.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What?
Depends on how you say it.
I know you seen on TV.
It's like, fuck you, you can say that was fucking unbelievable. I was 107.3 last night.
Sorry, guys, for the no sound for a few minutes last segment. It's just hard when you do a show with Joel. You kind of have to be like a circus ringmaster type. There's a lot of things going on peripherally that you can't see. We got food here that he's double dipping.
Never double dip.
I'll eat this one because it was on the paper.
Mommy,
Do what? Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
last bit. Last bit.
You ever heard several
Uh-huh. Big band deal? It's all right. I mean, it's not like, oh, wow.
We played at Bill Brady's.
Yeah, I mean,
It's okay.
yeah, it's just okay. It's worth doing. It's something different.
It's different, something different.
When I've seen him, it's been with his big band.
I don't think about that.
Right.
Stayed at Bill
Right.
Brady's.
I mean, that's where he gets covered up and he's a lot better is when it's a big band, right? We got 12 pieces or however many pieces and they're all, playing things. They have the Ned Fusillo big band or something like that they'll play. I've seen them at LeBare's a couple times for some events we've had.
Hey, look how much fun that looks like. I want to do that. Wow.
Welcome back. Final segment of hour number one. We're over here at Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs. Ronnie Rantz and Joel Davis, and then TK, Tommy Christ, going to join us hour number two. A rumor, it's not confirmed, just a rumor that might not have the latest ankle injury potentially could have been off the field. And it could have been on a skateboard. And as a former professional skateboarder,
Professionals kind of stretching.
well, you're the one who's
Amateur, professional, amateur.
you're the one who's used the word professional. I've never used it.
Never used the word professional.
You said you were sponsored.
Yeah, that's professional. You can be sponsored.
Someone gave you money. You're sponsored. You never got cash.
Nope. Never got cash. Got free boards, free wheels, trucks.
So you were NIL before NIL
Correct.
in the late 80s.
Early 80s, 85, 84, 85, 86. Zorlak, look them up.
Are they still around?
I don't know if they're still around or not. I really don't pay attention to that kind of stuff anymore.
So you didn't really help their brand, is what you're saying?
I kind of get, as soon as I went to college, I kind of gave up the sport.
I realized that, there was a lot of chicks on campus. And Skateboarding around campus wasn't the coolest thing on the planet, right? Now it's like, no, apparently, because everybody does it, right? You got a scooter, a skateboard, anything.
Nothing skateboarding on college campus.
No, it is. Oh, okay. It's still not cool. Okay, well, it was definitely not cool in 1988 when I started Southeastern University. Like that was it was almost like taboo to get. So I immediately boarded and moved on. At the end of the day, grown people. I tore my ACL skateboarding in 2000. I think it was 2007 with my son in the Hammond Park. I know. I'm getting to my point. I was 35 years old. My point is grown men need to stay off the skateboard. Stay off the skateboard because you can't handle what happens to your body skateboard when you get to a certain age. 25, 26, 27, you're not a skateboarder, you can't handle it. This is true. If he tried to do some, you don't even have to try anything. He'd be rolling on it. And you hit one little pebble. You're gonna go flying off that skateboard, and you're gonna try to catch yourself. You can do all kinds of things. And if this rumor is true, and I didn't know we was even gonna talk about it, I would cut that dude. I would get my money back.
If you had a player that injured himself off the field, potentially skateboarding, it's true, you could prove it. You would, no matter how.
If he misses 5 or 6 games, if he's going to miss 5 or 6 games in a year where we need you more than ever, and I just gave you $20 million a year, yeah, I want my freaking money back. I want my money back, bro.
The thing that's interesting is how do you prove if a player got injured doing something that they're not supposed to? Because in professional sports contracts, there's lots of clauses of things they can't do. Others,
Lots.
A lot of it's no scan.
Various things.
I know a guy.
So
2 guys.
imagine that you get hurt at a party, like a kid's party.
Yeah. Or an adult party.
But you're the player who's got a $100 million contract at stake.
Do you go around and get everyone's Venmo and like, hey, I'm gonna send you 5,000, keep your mouth shut?
1,000.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I have a lot to lose. So this is the conversation. Hey, listen, man. Just rolled my ankle. You saw it? Did you see it? You see me roll my ankle? I'm asking you.
No, man, I was over there by the nacho bar. I didn't see it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Was there anybody else that saw what just happened? Anybody else see me? Did anybody have their cell phones out?
You sound like a guy that was in The Sopranos. The way you looked at me, it came to me like
My
that.
attitude's gonna change. My attitude's gonna change 100%. So one minute I'm talking like, hey man, how you doing? Good to see you.
Right.
The next minute, if you saw
Hey, did you see anything? You see anything? Did your eyes see anything?
With your phone?
Your phone, you throw it on the ground, you smash it.
I'm everybody's phone in the entire room, dude. Everybody's phone is getting.
I want everybody to put their phone in this bag.
Hey, Jimmy, I know you're 12 years old. Did you have your phone out with that? Did you see that? Because me and you got to have a conversation. Okay, that's what we're gonna do right now. So I literally, I get everybody together, okay, and I look at everybody's phones. I ask every single person there, did you have your phone out? Did you see me I wasn't on that skateboard, but did you see me on a skateboard? Because I wasn't on a skateboard, but if you saw it, you really didn't see it.
Throw the skateboard in the
Trash. So, but I know a couple guys. If I'm the Saints, I know a couple. Well, I got 2 guys I'm calling Steve DeBosier and Chris Perrette. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna get my money back.
Thank God he's out. He's going to head to Woodhaven Furniture Company. Tommy Chrysan coming up hour number 2. We're over here at Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs. Real sports talk next.
All right. I'll see you Monday afternoon.
What's that?
You talk to Craig?
No, I'll get my home.
Bye, TK.
All right, dude, be good.
Okay, man. See you. You
I
too.
sent you a text for your new profile pic.
Okay, yeah.
I got a new profile picture for you.
I'm gonna send that to my 2 buddies.
Oh, yeah.
Texas fans.
So what are they so offended about? Does it mean something that we don't know about?
It started years ago when Oklahoma was beating them like 50-0.
It's disrespectful to do our logo like that.
Yeah, whatever. Bunch of babies. They're woke. I got a great open comment. Okay, you got to go. TK, you told me you got a great open comment with it. You're going to fall out of the chair. Just set me up right at the
All right.
I was on 107.3 last night with Matt Watson.
Huh?
I was on 107.3 last night with Matt Watson.
Okay. Uh-huh.
He's got that little show. He had David sing Romaine for half hour.
Okay.
David can sing.
No, David's good, yeah.
Yeah, no, like better than good. He sang 2 songs there in the studio. But he had me on about youth sports.
Texas and Oklahoma would be a nice addition for the baseball schedule. I agree with that, Tammy.
So they could hear you?
Mm-hmm. Yep, unless you mute it. It's just like when we do our show.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay.
And then Almost is sitting in Louis' living room, living it. You said it to him. Hey, what's up, Mr. Mo? Hope y'all doing well. That's right, Carl.
YouTube right now?
Yeah.
I can share it.
Mm-hmm.
You saw I've been doing it.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Really. Share it. Go right to my Twitter account. Thank you. Can I get another Diet Coke in here, please?
Sure. You can just set this right here.
Yeah, thank you. Let me give you this. This is done. Thank you.
How was it? Good?
Yeah, real good. Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 underway. Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Kreisand joining us. Joel Davis has left the building. He is headed back to Woodhaven Furniture Company over there on Government Street. Stop in at Woodhaven today and see him before they close at 5 o'clock. And tell him you heard it right here on Sports Shorts. He's going to knock 15% off today. Just go by and tell him, and he'll give you a 15% off discount on any purchase today if you tell him you heard it on Sports Shorts. Tommy Kreisand here with us each and every week, courtesy of Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. And TK, I know you've got some thoughts right away.
Yeah, I was listening in hour number 1 as I was driving out here to Greystone Country Club. I don't know a lot of things, but I know one thing. Greg Sankey is not worried about Joel Davis taking the job.
That is 100% true.
I almost went off the road trying to follow his odd thing.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Joel has not ever applied for commissioner of any league, whether it's the Ancient Athletes League or any kind of league. Yeah,
Joel's not
Yeah.
getting with Greg Sankey.
I love how Joel last night had fun time with his buddies, and they sat around drinking, talking about the new SEC landscape and what it might look like. And he got about 5 minutes in and thought he had it figured out, forgot everything else. But what was your takeaway, Tom? That's the big story of the week for the state of Louisiana. If you're a college fan, is adding Oklahoma and Texas, which is inevitable. It'll happen in the future. And now we're also hearing that they may not be done with Oklahoma and Texas.
You know, that's just one step in what I think is going to be many steps, Ronnie. There's no telling what ways. I've seen a lot of stuff, read a lot of stuff, everything from they're going to make it a football-only super conference with 32 teams in it, and the other sports will stay with whatever conference they're in. There's a lot of craziness out there. Who knows? But Ronnie, we live in a world of change. Changing every 5 minutes in our lives now, especially since pandemic. And, you know, I was thinking while I was driving out here to Greystone, you remember Ronnie, wasn't that long ago when there was only 11 games? He said, we're going to play 12 games like every third year. Then we're going to play 12 games every year. And people's hair got on fire. It's like the early signing period. Change happens. I'm guilty. I resist change like most people do, but it's just part of it now. And it's all about the money. Follow the money. The money that'll be made. I do agree with you. There'll always be an SEC championship game. That's never going away. Right. So, you know, it's money, money, money. The rich get richer. The good teams are going to stay the good teams. And you throw NIL in. You know, that's the thing. See, Oklahoma and Texas, they should be happy because they can tell their student athletes, hey, you're going to make more money now that we're in the SEC. And then here, I got another thought, Ronnie. I used to think Texas was a cool state. You know, that's pretty cool. I've been to Astro games. I've been to Ranger games, whatever. But Ronnie, they've become woke. I mean, Texas is with this horns down thing, and Case Cook is my favorite player in the SEC, the Missouri lineman that, you know, took a blast at him. And then now Texas A&M's whining about they want to be the only. He said if horns down bothers you, you might not want to play in this league, he said. Yeah, but and now A&M don't want to play I mean, we want to be the only team from the state. Well, ask Auburn and Alabama how they feel about that. Ask Ole Miss and Mississippi State how they feel about that. Yeah, no, Texas A&M, they're admitting they're scared to recruit against and play Texas in sports, which it used to be an annual thing, big deal. I mean, why run and be afraid? To be the best, you got to beat the best, right? You know, I mean, it's like when you go play golf. If you play golf with somebody that you're going to beat by 20 strokes every time you play, you're not going to get better. When you play against that guy that's going to beat you, even if he just beats you on a case of deer or a duck tender, it's still going to make you better. And the sooner that day is going to come when you win. But I mean, it's this whole world has gotten so soft with being offended. It bothers me. Like, I mean, the Cleveland Indians. I read an article in the USA Today said they finally got rid of their racist nickname. Okay, you know when the Cleveland Indians started? 1915. I looked it up. 1915. We're going to go from spiders to Indians. And now it's racist. Why wasn't it racist for the past 104 years?
Well, I'm confused because I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and there are a lot of Indian tribes, of course, in Arizona, and so I had interactions with Indians, and they were always on the news, and they had organizations, and they call themselves Indians. So I don't understand why saying that Cleveland
Indians, the term Indians is racist. I get it if it was a slang word or some derogatory comment, but it's like saying the New Orleans white people is racist. I mean, or the Caucasians. Like, no, that's what you are. That's your term. I don't know. I don't get it.
I'd be happy if somebody was using that name.
If somebody cared about us. Right?
We mattered now. You know, Ronnie, we were sitting around a bunch of guys last night in the water and all. They all kind of came to the, you know, whatever happened with just being able to disagree. Ronnie, I don't agree with you on that, but yet we're still going to do a Sports Shorts Daily, or we're still going to go get lunch, we're going to hang out. Just because we disagree, I'm not going to say, Ronnie, you should never be on Sports Shorts Daily again, because I can't believe you said that. I mean, what's wrong with disagreeing? It's always been a part of life.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if two
Institutions like the Florida State Seminoles and the Atlanta Braves change their name.
Well, St. John's changed their nickname. Marquette, which used to be the Warriors, won a national championship in basketball in the 70s. You know, and the Braves. I mean, if the Indians have to do it, why don't the Braves? I mean, and then the Yankees. What if you're from the South and you're offended by the term Yankees? Or you're a Northerner and you don't want to be called a Yankee? I mean, where's it going to stop? I mean, come on. Well, worry about things that matter.
You mentioned some of the 5 finalist names. The Rockers were one of them.
Well, yeah, and I remember the one I couldn't remember. I remember I could only list 4. It was going to be the Spiders, which was the Rockers, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's there, the Municipals, and then you had the Guardians, and then the other ones that were going to be the Cleveland Baseball Club, just like we got the Washington football team, but they're going to announce a new name next spring, I believe. It was Cleveland Baseball Club. So.
It's just soccer.
But then, I mean, club, I could hurt you with a club. I mean, the Washington Bullets, they had to get rid of bullets. I mean, where's it going to stop, Ronnie? They're just going to, everybody just sit in your little room and play on the internet. I mean,
It's going to be like 5 official approved nicknames.
It'll be the Cleveland team, the New Orleans team. I mean, and then somebody won't like team, Oh.
All right, so in the world of LSU this week was SEC Media Days.
It seems like a million years ago that Coach O spoke at SEC Media Days on Monday because the SEC was able to stretch Media Day for 5 days. It's interesting. Went to the Sun Belt Conference football Media Day, packed everybody into one, had no problem. But the SEC stretched it for 5, and you know what?
They've got network and they've got that programming and they're dominating the market. They've been top for a year.
But a million days ago, Coach O talked. Biggest takeaway from his speech on Monday.
I thought he was a little stiff. I think he was nervous about the question that did come about all the lawsuits, and he gave the no comment answer. But he treated it like it was a Monday press luncheon with, okay, here's our offense, we're going to do this, defense, we're going to do that, and quarterback's going to be a battle for who's going to start, special teams are going to be good. Okay, any questions? I mean, that's basically what he did, but each coach can do what they want, and, you want them to just be themselves, but I don't know. I thought he was a little stiff, but it's media day. You got 5 days of media day stuff, but you don't really get a whole lot out of that, other than when they dropped the bombshell about 2 bombshells, Oklahoma and Texas, and then the Alabama quarterback who is yet to start a game making $1 million on NIL.
Funny online, Nookie saying they come in for the Raging Cajuns, talking about changing names. That's offensive, right?
Again, where's it going to stop? I mean, McNeese Cowboys.
Kansas City
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Indians.
Kansas City Chiefs.
You can't have Cleveland Indians. How can you have Dallas Cowboys?
Right.
Didn't the Cowboys and the Indians used to fight?
Right.
Oh, can't Dallas Cowboys. Dallas come up with a new name.
Texas and Oklahoma, according to Craig Schilling, says Texas and Oklahoma will complain they're in the Southeast Conference, change the name to the conference because they're not located in the Southeast.
It's all going to give everybody a headache. Just everybody take a deep breath, let it play out. Right now, the famous quote by Rantz 13, let it play out.
Right. Nikki also saying mental health professionals and advocates for the colorblind coming for the St. Louis Blues.
Now they're talking about they don't want Utah to use jazz anymore because it should be in the wall.
Well, that's 30, 40-year-old argument.
But again, where is it going to stop? I mean, gee.
I'm just shocked.
Aren't there more important things in our world to be concerned about?
The only thing that can rival the New Orleans Jazz being, the Utah Jazz being just ridiculous, right? First off, they didn't change their colors till much later. They were the colors of Mardi Gras, purple, gold, and green, and they were the Jazz. They kept the name, the logos, the colors that the New Orleans Jazz had in the 70s. They kept that till maybe 15 years ago or something like that, right? Or whatever, 20 years ago. Then, on top of that, the only other team that was ridiculous, when the Colorado Zephyrs or the Denver Zephyrs moved to New Orleans as the AAA ballpark and became the New Orleans Zephyrs. Zephyr is a wind thing that had to do with the mountains and the Rockies. Ain't no wind on Metairie, on Airline Highway in Metairie. Right.
And nowadays they want to do it so they can sell
right.
Here. Look, don't think that all these teams, they lost money through the pandemic. So when you see all these alternate jerseys and different hats, that's all they're trying to recoup some of that money because their fans will buy everything. And then what's going to happen like in Cleveland? There's going to be a rash with Indian stuff because it's going to become a collector's item.
Yeah.
And all the fans who love that organization are going to get the Guardian stuff. I think they don't.
Yeah, that's what Carl the Cat said online. He said, go buy all the Indian stuff you can, make some money as a collector's item in the future. That's what I did with Aunt Jemima maple syrup. I went and bought like 6 bottles of Aunt Jemima maple syrup, got them up top in my pantry.
There's a company somewhere that bought like 1 million bottles, and like you can turn them into them when they're empty, and they'll put like the new product out the label into the old bottles. So you have the old label.
Oh wow, that's crazy. All right, you saw what Uncle Ben's. It's just Ben's original now. Uncle Ben's rice is gone. Yeah. He's Tommy Christ and I'm Ronnie Rantz. We're over here at Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs. It's only about 15 minutes from the I-10 I-12 split. Just head down I-12 like you're going to Hammond. Get off. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, you get right there. Yeah, especially with no traffic on a weekend. It felt like 30, but you get off at either the range or the Juban exit, and it's 3 minutes off the interstate, and you can be playing golf Tuesday through Sunday here. It's open to the public, and also great food. They've got memberships available for families. You got the pool, you got tennis, you got golf. Fantastic bar and restaurant. So memberships available. If you just want to play golf, it's open to the public as well. It's Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs. We'll take a break and be back with Tommy Christ and Real Sports Talk, hour number 2 on Sports Georgia, presented by the Bears. Welcome back. Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Christ joining us here today. Joel Davis was with us hour number 1 from Greystone Golf and Country Club. And, of course, hour 2, TK joins us courtesy of Court Street Cafe.
Court Street Cafe in Port Allen, just 2 minutes over the bridge. Be to the right, take a right on Court Street. Connect with them on Facebook and Instagram. They got different lunch specials every day, different dinner specials. A lot of places have that same thing every Monday, Tuesday, whatever. They like to mix it up at Court Street Cafe, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. A little bar with some beverage choice at the end of the day. You got TVs with different events on. So Court Street Cafe, Jason and the staff do a wonderful job. I've had breakfast there. I've had lunch. I've had dinner. You need to check it out. And again, it's only 2 minutes the other side of the bridge. You think Port Allen, you go, oh, bridge. Very easy to get to. We go over there for sports shows daily once a week. So if you haven't checked them out yet, check out Court Street Cafe on Court Street in Port Allen.
A lot of topics to get to. We talked a lot, of course, already about Oklahoma and Texas and the
Landscape and all that. We talked about Michael Thomas's injury and rumors that may and may not have happened. The football injury may have happened off the field, the whole nine. This week, a couple of things went down. Obviously, Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA championship. And the Greek Freak, what he did, Tommy, this was a guy that we weren't sure how much he was going to play going into the finals. Remember, he missed the last 2 games in the Eastern Conference Finals due to injury. Well, he looked fine and just got better and better. Was the MVP, of course, of the series. They win in 6 after being down 2-0. Milwaukee storms back, wins 4 in a row. He's already been the MVP of the league a couple of times. Now he's got an NBA championship. He's only 26 years old. Like, are we about to hit that stretch where – kind of like what we did with LeBron a decade ago, where he dominated for 5 or 6 years and won a championship half the time. Do you think that's what's going to happen here?
I think that's what's going to happen because they got everybody in the contract again. And now you can have people that want to go to Milwaukee, but maybe 3-4 years ago, guys that were free agents, Milwaukee might not have been real high on the list. The other thing I think it does, Pelicans hired a really great the system with the Suns and Ben and the Warriors actually played in the Pelicans for a reason. And, this thing around Zion, and it helps to see in Milwaukee, another small market team, to win a world championship. And they didn't have to put the big 3 together like, Miami did and LA did and all this stuff. Brooklyn has done. So I think it's a good news for the Pelicans, but now they still got a lot of ground to cover, a lot of stuff to do to get to that level. But Zion's no Greek freak, I can tell you. He's the best basketball player on the planet as we speak today. And Phoenix just didn't have an answer for him. Did not have an answer for him. He was not going to be denied. They win 4 straight games. Think about that. They won 4 straight games against a Phoenix team that's pretty damn good. Okay, won 4 straight games, including one of them in Phoenix. So, it's pretty impressive, and it's a great story for Milwaukee. Wisconsin, the Deer District, they weren't worried about COVID at that thing. But, I think it's a great story that, the NBA might have needed after all the, TV ratings dipped and the backlash because they were worried about social justice. How about this? LeBron James's movie scheduled to lose $200 million. You know why? China won't let him play it over there. After he sold out to China, they told him you can't play your new movie over here. It's going to be the biggest loss for a movie ever.
Wow.
And now he's picking on the Olympic people. So he's an attention whore. Right. He's got to have attention. Into that game with tequila between his legs, and he's had to inject himself into the story.
Right. Something positive though. Look, I am usually a giant. Like I am somebody that generally loves the Olympics, watches it like crazy. Not feeling it this time around. It's so different when there's no fans. 0 fans at the Olympics. I mean, how could Japan's going to lose? I mean, you already lose money when you put on an Olympic. This is how is Japan going to be able to absorb this? It's incredible.
Two things, Ronnie. One, I could care less about the Olympics, but they had the opening ceremony on last night, the place I was at, and the athletes are waving. Who are they waving to?
Well, there were some people.
Well, they were, but here's the problem, and this gets into this whole women's sports and transgender thing. I was flipping channels the other night, and you had the women's softball Olympics on. They were on a baseball field, Ronnie.
Right.
The base is like second base for the softball was between the mound and. I'm thinking, okay,
they use the same facility.
You had
for both.
10 years to know you were hosting softball. Then you got an extra year for the pandemic. Why aren't the advocates of women's sports going ballistic over this? That they couldn't give them a softball field to play on. That boggled my mind.
Yeah, they talked about in the broadcast how it's not ideal, but that's what they have.
But I mean, getting ahead of, like, they were awarded the Olympics 10 years ago.
Softball and baseball is not an official sport. It is one of those sports that the host country gets like 5 sports that they can exhibition, right? 1984
Build a softball field.
1984 when baseball was when the Olympics were in Los Angeles. That was Clark and all that team. And gold medal, it was an exhibition sport. And so that's part of the way to justify it, part of the way to make it financially feasible is to do this. And they're talking about doing this at other Olympics too.
They couldn't find a softball. They couldn't build one in the last 10 years.
It's
If I'm an advocate of women's sports, I'm furious. And I'm saying we're never going there again.
well, I mean,
The Olympic Committee should say, you can't host ever again if you can't provide a facility for this particular sport, then you're not going to have it. The women's softball people should be out of their minds.
They literally bring in a dirt patch just for the mound.
Yeah.
So, the mound, well, first off,
The circle.
The circle.
well, it's not a mound, but they knock down the mound. The pitcher's mound isn't there. They take a circle, but not just like turf where you have the rubber and you pitch on the turf, which is what they do in the United States. I mean, you go watch Parkview Baptist play or Live Oak or somewhere that's got turf or they're pitching on turf. Well, they pitch on dirt internationally. They only have a dirt patch, square rectangle that the pitchers pitch on that's just for the mound. And then, of course, obviously they're going to cover it over with turf, dig it up and cover it over with turf when the guys start playing baseball at some point.
Yeah, yet another reason not to care about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm one that gets into it. I'm sure I'll watch a little bit, but this is really cool. Don't hear these kinds of stories very often, but Draymond Green, who's very outspoken, of course, who plays for he said, quote, a lot of respect for NBA Finals players sticking to Tokyo commitments that were in the NBA Finals. Devin Booker of the Suns, of course, Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, both of the champion Bucks. The 3 of them took a charter plane, private plane to Tokyo, got there less than 24 hours before the opening game for the USA, and are going to play for the USA team. And they're honoring their commitment to play in the Olympics. And that this day and age, especially if you're, any of those 3, but particularly if you won the championship, if you're Middleton or Holiday, it'd be easy to say, hey, our season went long. I'm gonna stay back here. I'm a little back. Of course, you can celebrate and party. No, they're staying with their commitment and going to be in the Olympics. And of course, the USA team needs them. This isn't like it's a done deal that USA rolls out basketball and wins a gold medal or anything really for that matter. They need these guys. So that's pretty cool.
I think it's great. I truly respect them immensely because of that. I mean, you play. Never had that opportunity. A lot of people I know did, from Rick Green to Will Clark and Ben list. To put USA on was never even close to having that opportunity. But I guarantee you that would highlight to represent your country. Nowadays, not everybody's wild about the country, but I can remember, as a kid, I couldn't wait for the Olympics to come on. She pulled for the U.S. and sports I've never heard of before as a kid. Yeah, but it was good, But so I respect those guys for honoring their commitment to the USA basketball team, represent the country, and showing that they're proud to be a part of USA.
It says Draymond Green said, I have a lot of respect for those guys for not only committing to do this, but actually keeping their word. You're talking about 3 true professionals, 3 extremely competitive guys that wouldn't be on their way here if this didn't mean anything. During training camp in Vegas and over in Japan, the USA team was kind of speculating that they expected 1 or more of these guys to drop out. They did not. This is what Devin Booker said. He said, we could have easily we could have very easily got to the last game. And Devin Booker saying, man, we lost. I'm pissed off. I'm out. Or Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday say, we just won a championship. I want to celebrate and stay home with my family. I'm out. It's on us to make sure, though, that we do our part to make sure they're rewarded
with what they ultimately came here for, which is to help us to compete and win a gold medal. And that's partly what Green said. Hey, we want to help these guys now get a gold medal too, so, for a big deal. So something to watch there. USA women's soccer, not off to the best start.
I think they won,
I thought they lost to Sweden.
but then they won the next
Oh,
one.
and the next one.
But, they couldn't stand for national anthem. So I
Yeah,
said,
a few players did stand, some did.
go play for a country who you like.
Yeah.
If you don't like USA, that's fine. It's your choice. You go live somewhere else.
I mean, they wore.
Spending money on those people, but they would disrespect the flag, disrespect the anthem, disrespect the country and the citizens of the country.
I mean, are we still with that? I mean,
It's the wrong
they had
time.
Matter shirts on at the Olympics in Tokyo. Like it's kind of like, to me, the whole Dixie Chicks argument, right? Like the Dixie Chicks, their career went down the drain 15 plus years ago when they went overseas during the whole Iraq war thing, and they said in England a negative comment about the U.S. president, or being disappointed to be from America or something like that. Okay, and that ruined their career. It's one thing. It's almost like, in your family, right? I can say whatever I want about my brother or my sister, but you better not say anything about my brother or sister. So it's the same kind of concept to me about in the United States. If we want to be negative towards each other, or we're upset about Black Lives Matter, or offended by the Cleveland Indians thing, or that's a conversation for us to have. Once you get on a plane and you leave this country and you go somewhere else to a foreign land. To me, it's about USA across the chest. You leave that stuff at home. You don't talk negatively about your family outside of the family. And to me, if you're the USA women's soccer team and you go over to Japan and you're playing in the Olympics, for you to have Black Lives Matter shirts on, and then take a knee. Half the team took a knee. It was like 3 or 4 of them didn't take a knee, but some of them. Whoa! That's not what this is about. This is a different venue. This isn't the time or place. You want to do that back in our land and have that internal discussion? That's fine, but I don't know how that's not helping the cause. I can tell you that right now. That's not helping the cause over there. There's nobody that's going, ooh, they have Black Lives Matter on there. Well, right. There's nobody fans there. And at this point, you are where you are on that argument.
Don't like the United States of America, go live somewhere else. That's all I got to say. Not everything is perfect. Not everything like that. But if you hate it, if you're going to display it on the national stage, your hatred like that, live in another country, play soccer for another country that you respect.
By the way, USA women's soccer, they beat New Zealand today 6-1. So they beat New Zealand. Don't care. All right, he's Tommy Christian. I'm Ronnie Rantz. We're over here at Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham. Springs are wrapping up the Woody's Revenge golf tournament here this morning, and then it'll be opened up for public play here in about an hour or so. We'll be back with more Sports Shorts presented by the Bears. Don't go anywhere. Everyone, the Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino over here at Greystone Golf and Country Club. Ronnie Rantz alongside Tommy Chrysan.
Coach Street Cafe. Yeah, Tuesday. Put our schedule together next week.
Yeah, you'll be there Tuesday. 10 a.m. All right, so interesting what's going on right now in the NFL, right? With COVID and this new strand blowing up all over the country and cases are going through the roof. The NFL is going right at this thing head on, and they want everybody to get vaccinated. They're not making any bones about it, to the point now that they're saying two things. One, if you're the team who has to forfeit a game because you have COVID issues, you don't have enough players, whatever the case may be, and it's due to players not being able to play because they're unvaccinated, then you're forfeiting your paychecks. You're paying for the other team's paychecks.
What are both teams? I mean, the world is supposed to.
I guess nobody. I mean, if you have two teams, first off, we just dealt with COVID last year, and we didn't have that situation where where two teams did. But if you have two teams that don't play each other and they both have issues because of unvaccinated players, then it's a push. Nobody gets paid.
Well, but the NFL is about money. They want to play their game.
Right. As well they should.
They made money last year, but not as much money as they.
Correct. Yeah, no fans.
They lose money. Okay, just make that clear. But they didn't make what they were hoping to make. So they act like they care about the players, but they really don't. So they're going to lower the boat on somebody, pull some paychecks, and issue fines because they want these games to be played together, just like colleges are. And they're basically lap of each team saying you better handle this behind your closed door. We don't have to have.
Got no problem. I mean, look, it's your individual choice. We've already seen some coaches, one for the Vikings, one for the Patriots. They have elected to step down because they refuse to get vaccinated. Hey, good luck. Good luck going home to your wife and telling her, honey, we pack up. We got to move because I don't have a job and we have a paycheck. And oh, by the way, it's not like I can go to another team. So, good for you for your stance on not being vaccinated. What did that do you? Then, by the way, legally and coming up here, the businesses are going to be able to, once it gets off the emergency vaccine, they're going to be able to say that, hey, you want to be a part of our business, you have to get vaccinated. Everybody has the right to do what they want. But everybody says, well, in the United States, in the land of the free, free speech. Absolutely. You have free speech. You can walk outside into the street and say whatever you want, but you also have to deal with the ramifications. Nobody's going to throw you in jail like in Cuba or Russia. But if you want to talk crap about your boss has a right to fire you. So say whatever you want. You're not going to go to the jail. You're not going to go to the dungeons and get beat. But there are ramifications. It ain't free speech where there's no fallout to what you say. And the same with this. With this pandemic going on and cases blowing up like crazy, and I don't know where you don't believe, go to a hospital. Right or wrong, the places there are people going in getting COVID. Okay, and if you have the vaccine, you can get COVID. If you don't have the vaccine, get COVID. If you have the vaccine, you're not going to die. You're not going to be in a ventilator. That's what we know. But it doesn't mean you're not going to get COVID. And if you don't have the vaccine, you know what? You got a 2% chance you're going to die. Maybe even higher, depending on what you got in your body and how, all these other things. Do you want to take it? 2% chance? Would you play Russian roulette with your neighbors if you had 100 people lined up and you passed the gun down the line and you just pulled the trigger? That's what you're doing. So you can make all the stance you want, vaccine, no vaccine, Republican, Democrat. It's become a political thing, which is ridiculous. But the bottom line is that you want to play, you want to get a paycheck, you want to go work at a business that has a lot of people that are all right around you. If your business or the job or the NFL says you've got to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If not, then go file unemployment or something and go get in line. They're giving away free money, so go get it.
Yeah, again, you make that decision. Consequences, positive or negative, as a result due to that decision. We make decisions every day. You take go to sleep late at noon. Ability to get back the virus. We don't take chances.
I'm really curious to see what, I mean, there's a lot of people talking smack, right? But let's see whether you can put your money where your mouth is, right? Leonard Fournette saying he's not going to vaccinate. Tyrann Matthew vaccinated. You got other players talking about retiring. Okay, go for it. Do it. I want to see. If you believe that this is such a bad thing, or this is such a big deal. I just go back to the same thing. It drives me crazy. I don't care if people get vaccinated or not, personally. Okay, don't care. You want to roll the dice on dying or not dying, or you think it's BS or whatever, go for it. Don't care. But when it starts affecting my life, and what that means is when it starts affecting, if I got to wear a mask, if I can't go to a restaurant because it's 25% capacity, if I got to cancel an event because I can't have an event because it's more than 50 people, if I got to fly and it's a pain enough, and when it starts affecting me personally, then I care. Other than that, you want to crank up your lungs, or you want to drink 18 bottles of wine a night, I don't care. But when it starts affecting me, I have a visceral reaction. And right now, the NFL players are saying, I ain't doing it. Okay, well, you have every right to not do that. I want to see if you're willing to walk away from all that money.
It'll take them 2-3 hours to replace the roster.
Look, and that people in the United States of America do not care who's on a football field. They just want bodies and names and uniforms.
Right, I go back in the mid-'80s. There's a time when we got like the nameplates above the locker. Lockers were a lot simplified back then. Like you had the nameplates, say Ranks or say Price.
Right.
It was a piece of the chalkboard. And the names were written in chalk. That was Tom Landry's way of letting them know how quickly they could be replaced. We could erase your hands and put the next guy in there. Well, that's what's going to happen now in the NFL with these guys. They will replace them, and it might not even take 2 hours.
I want to read a comment just because, he's a good follower of everything on 104.5 ESPN, and so I want to give his takeaway. He disagrees with my comment on COVID. I disagree with you. Athletes do not need the vaccine. This according to Craig. Can't just look at local/national news. You have to look at context of the data. No athletes at any level who tested positive said that they couldn't return because they are still sick. First off, I mean, there's so many stories on ESPN and stuff of athletes of different levels, college, whatever, that have had COVID and have had issues physically. The other thing too is it's simply about spread. I mean, if you work at an insurance company and you get COVID because you got a little sniffle and a runny nose, what do they tell you? Don't come back for 10 days. Stay home because you don't want you spreading it to other people. And again, it's all about that low percentage person that might get it and die. It's not about, well, I got it and I got fever. And it's not anybody's, whether it's a company made up of young people or old people, or any business, if you get COVID, stay home, quarantine, take the medicines. We'll test you in a few days, and if you don't have it, then you can come back. I mean, that's just the rule of thumb. That's the rule of law. And regardless of what Craig's saying here, and well, I haven't seen anybody. They're not going to do something different for the NFL that they're going to do for Ron Rantz Insurance. It's going to be the same policies in business wherever. You don't just say, well, it's the NFL, that's different. We're going to treat COVID differently than another business. All right, guys, y'all hear anything on the LSU and UCLA football game being moved because of the recent surge of COVID? That's Brian asking that question. That hasn't come up yet, but it's a good.
The only thing I know is that you don't have to wear a mask to go to the game.
That's come out at this point.
So it's, you change it tomorrow.
Right.
As of now, when I talked to a guy last night who was going to the game, I don't care if you wear the mask to go to the game.
I mean, people are used to it. You had to kind of do it last year, right?
Yeah.
That definitely changes things. And look, that we're a month out. We're over a month out. We're a month and a half out. I mean,
September 4th.
Yeah. So a month and a half out. Yeah. So I mean, like this could change. Absolutely. That's a.
It could change 4 times. I mean, I don't know if the venue could change. I mean, if UCLA is concerned, maybe they reached out to LSU and said, hey, we have to play in Baton Rouge.
But Baton Rouge is one of the hot spots. There's less people vaccinated in Louisiana than there are, percentage-wise, in California.
They were getting 2,000 shots a day, and now it's 5,000. because everybody's trying to win that million dollars. I'm ready for the shot. But anyway, that's I don't know. Sports is no longer sports. It's divided.
Well, it's not. It's sports right now is not the important thing.
No, well, we were with people dying. They weren't worried about COVID in the Deer District Tuesday night in Milwaukee. 50,000 people in a 2-block area.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, we got final break. Come back. Last segment. Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino over here at Greystone Golf and Country Club. He's Tommy Christ and I'm Ronnie Rantz. Welcome back, everyone. Final segment of Sports Shorts Radio live from Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs, where they're open Tuesday through Saturday, Tuesday through Sunday for golf. And, of course, it's open to the public for golf as well. I mean, they have private memberships available. They include, the pool and tennis and dining and golf and everything like that. But if you just want to come out here and play golf, it's open to the public Tuesday through Sunday. Is the golf times, of course, in great shape. And then, of course, the food's fantastic, 10:30 to 9 p.m. at night from Tuesday through Sunday. I eat out here all the time. And also, I want to remind you, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame 2021 induction class is going to be the last weekend in August up in Natchitoches. And for more info, go to lasportshall.com. People like Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, formerly Chris Jackson, Marcus Colston, Drew Brees' favorite receiver for the Saints, Glenn Dorsey from East Ascension, LSU, one of the most decorated LSU football defensive player ever. Ricky Weeks. I know Roger Cador is going to be coming up with the Southern contingency to cheer him on. Ricky Weeks, second pick overall in the Major League Draft in 2003, I believe. And, of course, all-star with the Milwaukee Brewers. So, and many others, including Sheldon Mickles getting the Distinguished Service Award in sports journalism for his work. And Terry McCauley, NFL official, who, when you watch NBC football on Sunday nights, he's the guy that comes in the little box when it's a controversial call. So that's all been going on the last weekend in August up in Natchitoches, lasportshall.com. We even have a celebrity bowling event in Alexandria. We hope you can join us. Check that out. TK, just about three minutes or so left here in the show. Saints, 17 games, not 16. Getting that. 17 games, not 16 this year. Vegas line has dropped from 9.5 to 9 with all the rash of injuries and suspensions and things. Where do you fall? 9 wins puts them at 9-8. That's a winning record. 8-9 is a losing record. So no more 500 anymore.
Yeah, I think they'd be under. I get a bet money on that. I will bet under 9 because if they go 8-9. The under 9 bet works. So I think the smart money would be, say, bet under 9 for the Saints on the win total.
I'm going to go with you. I think this is going to be a total rebuild without that leadership of Drew Brees, without Michael Thomas, whether physically, mentally, he's not going to be in the right headspace. I think, you don't have the weapons to really help. I mean, without, Kamara and I like their tight end that they signed last year, but I just think this is and the division is super tough. Atlanta is going to be better, I think, than people think. I don't think the Panthers are going to be very good, but the Bucs are going to be the best team in football again. It's just how motivated are the Bucs going to be during the regular season and maybe just kind of waiting to the postseason with a guy like Tom Brady. But, I think at best third in the division.
I agree with that. Maybe get a lucky break or two point a second. But it's lining up to be a long year for the Saints. It really is. I got a baseball pick right now.
Oh, what you got? Somebody wants to make money?
Yeah, the oldest dude on the TikTok says take the St. Louis Cardinals plus $1.85.
Plus $1.85.
Yeah, maybe some money tonight.
So why? I guess the pitching matchup, they don't on paper.
We're going plus, okay, Cardinals plus $1.85. Against the Reds.
If you were the commissioner, not Commissioner Joel Davis, but the Commissioner Greg Sankey, would you stop with Oklahoma and Texas and go with a 16-team super PAC and just roll with that? Or there's reports out there that the SEC may be just trying to gobble up everybody and add Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State, and other Clemson.
I think, and now let's stop with Texas, Oklahoma, and look at something a little bit further down the road. It's going to cost Oklahoma and Texas like $7 million each to leave the Big 12. I'm sure Ohio State has to do the same thing. So I think this is the first step of many steps. I think they'll sit with that too. The other thing too, Ronnie, you got to look at the expenses to the non-revenue sports. I mean, the swimming team can have to go to Ohio State.
By the way, Pac-12 saying they're not looking to add teams, but they'll listen to teams. And I believe the Pac-12 is going to add some teams here in the next year or so. He's Tommy Krysan. I'm Ronnie Rantz. Thanks to Joel Davis for joining us. We've been listening to Sports Shorts Radio, presented by LeBear's Casino from Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs.
All right. I gotta get to a beat.
Thanks, everybody. Tune in to Sports Shorts Daily. We'll be back this